Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. Time now for our next segment. And today being December 1st, it is World AIDS Day. And that's the focus of our discussion now. And we have with us here a representative from the National AIDS Control Council. His name is Malcolm X. Andrew Wambura, and he works with Maisha Youth, which supports adolescents and young people, supporting the adolescent and young people program at NACC. Karibu sana to the show.
Asante sana,
very interesting
Joyce.
T-shirt, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I need money.
You need money?
Yes.
Okay.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Wow, you're ready. 2022, it's okay.
Hey, man, say Joe. Happy New Month.
Happy New Month to you as well.
Thank you for
that.
having me.
You're most welcome.
Yeah.
So of course Kenya joins the world today celebrating or marking at least World AIDS Day.
Yes.
And this is a day that's set aside globally for partners to unite and renew their commitment and show support for people living with HIV/AIDS and HIV and AIDS, and also to remember those who've unfortunately passed and lost their lives from this illness. So maybe you can begin by telling us what this year's theme is all about.
So basically each year the world and both at the international and national level, they both have different themes.
Okay.
So this year's theme, the global theme is global, what is the name? Global solidarity, shared responsibility. Okay. So we're in this together as a global.
Okay.
So this is a solidarity between everyone and all parties involved. And then our national theme this year for the nation of Kenya is Komesha HIV and COVID. Hashtag Tuwajibike.
Komesha HIV
and COVID.
And COVID.
Yes, hashtag Tuwajibike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Tuwajibike. Tell us about the situation as far as HIV/AIDS is concerned here in Kenya. It's been several years now, a couple decades in fact, since the discovery of HIV/AIDS. And of course, years ago, tulikuwa tunatetemeka sana ukisikia mtu ako na ukimwi, tulikuwa tunawatoroka. But nowadays, you don't even know. You might not even know who is HIV positive or who's living with AIDS. What is your assessment as far as where we're at as a country and how we're doing as far as keeping this illness at bay?
Well, I would say the country has made great strides towards fighting the HIV and AIDS pandemic in our country. Compared to the previous years, I think people now have knowledge, at least about HIV. At least now, when someone tests positive, for example, they know how to take care of themselves. They know how to adhere to medication. And if you are negative, you know how to protect yourself. At least now, there is information out there. People know about these things. So I think the country has made great strides. Yes.
Na tukiangalia vijana, like how is that coming along? Because of course our country is very young. We know that there's been a lot of issues from teenage pregnancy, drug and alcohol abuse among young people. So undoubtedly HIV/AIDS among young people must be pretty prevalent in this country.
Yes. New HIV infections is high among young people. So when I talk about young people, I'm talking between the ages of 15 to 19 and then 19 to 24.
Wow,
so that's
the
highest new infection is among our population. And as you know, our nation's population, we are about 70%, the young population, like the whole population of this country. So there are so many factors that are contributing to new high HIV infection. So, for example, when you talk about the teenage pregnancies, if we talk about high number of teenage pregnancies, that means these young people are not using protection. So which puts them at risk of contracting HIV, which puts them at risk of contracting other STIs. So basically, the statistics currently add that the young people are bearing the brand of new HIV infections in our country.
But when we talk about 15 to 19, I mean, that's terribly young.
Yes.
And is that primarily through sexual transmission, or are we where is drug abuse also a factor, and sharing of needles or whatever people could be doing, or is it largely due to sexual transmission?
I wouldn't say that there is a statistic to say that it's largely due to sexual transmission, but a lot of factors are contributing to the new HIV infections in our country. For example, as you have said, the drugs and substance abuse. When you are high, you cannot make sound decisions. For example, wacha tucheki hii scenario. Umepatana na dem club, vibe, nyote mko high, mumeenda home. Niambie nani atakuwa in their right mind to use protection? Or if they will use the protection, they will not use it correctly. Wanaweza ivaa vibaya, inaweza raruka wakiwa in the process, or they will not use protection at all. And then peer pressure also is a contributing factor, you know. So for example, ukiwa na maboys umechill, unaambiwa hii kitu bado hujapita, unasikianga mali safi and the chain. So it's like a peer pressure, you know. So you end up doing what your friends are doing, or just being influenced by whatever you're seeing on the internet. So basically there are just a lot of factors. I can't say that it's only sexually transmitted.
Still on this young population, because we're saying here 15 to 19 and 19 to about 24, are they actually telling people, are they telling their families, communicating to their families that they have tested positive? Are they even going out for testing, first of all? Because you'd imagine, you know, they're so young, they're supposed to be in high school, right?
Yeah,
at that age.
Yes.
They're supposed to be in class or in school, you know, doing other things. I'm wondering where they begin going to tell mom and dad, by the way, I'm HIV positive, and how that conversation goes. So where are they going to? Who are they turning to?
I interact with a lot of young people. Apart from doing youth advocacy, I also organize events and festivals. So I get to interact with a lot of these young people. And one thing I will say is that parents should be their first point of contact. But nowadays, our parents are so busy. Even to get that sit down with the parents, it's a task. Secondly, the VCT. Young people fear going to the VCT because when you're seen entering, stigmatization will start. Even if you are going to do other business or see someone, but just the fact that someone saw you entering a VCT, or when you go to the VCT, you'll find an elderly person who you are not comfortable communicating with, telling him or her whatever you have come to do.
You mean now the person actually administering the task?
Yes, and that's why we are also pushing for youth-friendly services, actually, whereby you can go and find a young person who can attend to you, who can listen to you, and actually relate with whatever you are going through.
Okay.
You get?
Okay.
So I don't know, but our parents needs to sit down, because you are the first point of contact with your child before they go out to the community.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess there's an underlying assumption, or an implicit assumption, that HIV/AIDS is affecting only lower income families, and that's not true.
Yeah, that's not true.
It's cutting across. Even rich kids.
Yeah.
Kids in very fancy schools are probably dealing with the same.
Yeah.
Right. So tell me a bit about Maisha Youth and the work that you do. You touched a bit on it, but you can tell us a bit more.
Yeah. So basically, Maisha Youth is a youth organization. We work closely supporting the National AIDS Control Council youth programs. So basically what we do, we inform, we empower, and we transform young people to make sound decisions in accordance to their sexual reproductive health.
Okay.
So basically what we do, so we do advocacy, we organize conferences and events for the young people. We reach out to the young people in the communities. I would say at a national scale, so we make sure tunaenda mashinani pia kufikia wale ambao hawezi fikiwa, and we are also big on social media, so we make sure we put out the message for those people who are online, and those who are offline, we make sure we go to the community with the messaging and information and linkage to services.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've mentioned peer pressure being a key factor. You've mentioned drug, substance abuse being a key factor, kids going out and getting high on alcohol and other things. And I know this will be a debate for, ages and ages, but in your opinion, how much of the work should be focused on prevention in as far as you're saying, with parents really changing our moral fabric, our cultural fabric, as far as what we prioritize today, rather than saying, okay, now we need to create awareness that this is happening and then provide ways for people to protect themselves rather than to prevent this from happening at all. Because surely, the kids should be in school.
Yeah.
You can have sex for the rest of your life, but school should be a priority right now.
Yes.
So how much of that features in how you actually communicate to the youth, so that it's not just maze pressure ni mob, jikinge na hii, but prevention in the sense of right time, right place, right moment? So
a lot of focus, I think, should be focused on behavior change, because once you change someone's behavior, you are able to prevent them. Or once you change someone's behavior, they are able to know how to live,
right,
with other people in the society.
Despite the pressure.
Despite the pressure. So, for example, if I'm empowered, if, for example, I'm HIV positive and I'm empowered, I know how to take my medication, I know how to do the hospital visits, I know how to do, for example, if I'm sexually active, how to practice safe sex, because one thing most people doesn't know, that if I'm HIV positive and my partner is HIV positive, we can't have sex, unprotected sex. You see? So people need to have information. So once you provide information and you focus on behavior change, I think that will be a great turning point for us as young people.
Very interesting. Malcolm X Andrew.
Thank
you very much for coming on to the show and sharing a bit about your work with us. For those who might want to engage with you, maybe they want to learn a bit more about Maisha Youth and your work, how can they reach you?
So we have our website, www.maishayouth.org. On Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Maisha Youth, across all platforms. And if you want to follow me personally, as I also do advocacy in other areas, at Malcolm_Andy on Instagram and across any other platform.
Great. Thank you very much for your time and for coming on to the show. We do appreciate you. And with that said, guys, we're going to take a break now as we get ready for the second hour of the show. Remember, 111-444-111 is the SMS line. You can also comment on social media at Switch TV KE on Instagram, at Switch TV Kenya on Facebook and Twitter. Coming up next, we have our fitness segment, but also we're going to be talking about relationships, and I see people already letting me know whether they can propose to a guy as a lady or they cannot. Well, how would you take it if a lady proposed to you, by the way?
Hey, toxic masculinity can't allow that.
Okay.
I'm joking.
I might have opened the Pandora's box. I know. But let's take a break, guys, and we'll be back at the top of the hour.